Now, with Brian Wilson live in Charlotte, this is Common Sense coverage of the Democratic National Convention with Brian and Brian, sponsored by the Media Research Center. 105.9 FM and AM 630. WMAL.
Good morning to you again. It is Brian Wilson coming to you live from Charlotte, North Carolina, where Democrats have gathered. They heard Michelle Obama last night. They'll hear Bubba tonight. Bill Clinton takes to the stage to speak on behalf of Barack Obama. We wanted to check in and see how this is all going over with the delegates. So we have on the line Brian Moran, who is the chairman of the Democratic Party in the Commonwealth of Virginia, on the line with Brian and Brian. Hello, Brian. How are you? It's Brian and Brian.
Hey, how about that, Brian to the third? It's great to be with you this morning.
And I noticed that you spelled your name the proper way, but we'll go over that and move on to other things. Look, you had a chance to hear
my parents spelled it. I didn't have much to say with it at the time.
Let's talk a little bit about how it went over for you last night. Michelle Obama making the case that, look, there's much work still to be done, and Barack Obama should be trusted to do it.
Absolutely. That's why we're in Charlotte. That's the message we want to hear, in addition to the Americans want to hear. And I think she knows Barack Obama better than anyone, and so she talked a great deal about what makes him tick, who he is as an individual and person. And, of course, who he is as an individual comes out in his policy initiatives, and she gave a list of those as well. So it was very, very well received by the Virginia delegation, as I suspect it was by the American people.
And yet in Virginia, in the Commonwealth right now, when you look at the polls, the latest Rasmussen poll has it dead even. If you take all of the recent polls and average them together, Barack Obama leads by only 0.6. So there's some convincing to do among some in the state of Virginia.
Yes, there is. And, nobody said it was going to be easy. Brian, we made history in 2008. It was the first time Virginia voted for a Democrat since 1964 in Lyndon Johnson. So we knew all along this would be difficult, as it was in 08. But we do have a great message and a tremendous messenger. And so I'm convinced we'll repeat history in 2012. But hey, anything worthwhile is never easy. It's worth working for, and we're working hard to make sure we get the vote out and we get his message out.
All right, what is the message? Because, look at the economy the way it is right now. You have higher unemployment. You have lower wages right now, the median household wage. Housing values are down. The debt is at $16 trillion now. Deficits continue to rise. So how do you make the case that the president deserves another 4 years?
Well, you do talk about where we were and what we've done over the course of his record. And we were losing 700,000 jobs a month when he took office. But now we have had 29 straight months of private sector job growth. We've created 4.2 million jobs. So on the economic front, there is good news. Now, we need to do more? Absolutely. He talks about it every day. He's talking about jobs. He's talking about making sure we make the critical investments to keep this economy moving forward, and that everyone has the opportunity at the American dream. And that's why during this convention, we're talking about not only his accomplishments on the economy, but also moving forward and laying a path forward to make sure everybody.
I hear moving forward often. What exactly is the second term? What is the vision of the second term for the Democrats and for Barack Obama? What's going to happen in the second term of the administration if it happens?
Oh, he has to continue to work number one priority in job creation. We need to continue to make sure that
How do you do that? I mean, how do job creation? Give me some examples of how you get job creation.
Sure. Well, you mentioned the housing market, and you're absolutely dead on. I mean, most middle-class Americans, their largest asset is the appreciation in their homes. And we find ourselves now, many are upside down. Now, that is improving. More people are paying down their mortgages and their debt. Mm-hmm. And the president needs to work toward making sure that housing industry is stable and growing, and because then that you have more construction, you have more consumer purchases. Same, and he talks a lot about the middle class. The middle class is your consumer. We're more and more based on a service industry, and it's the middle class that are purchasing goods. And unless you have a strong middle class with disposable income, this economy will stall. And so that's why he talks so much about the middle class, making sure they have an opportunity. And then he moves right into talking about education, because without good education, we're going to suffer as well. We're not going to be able to move forward without great K through 12 teachers, as well as higher education. And then he talks about Pell Grants, making sure higher education is accessible to more Americans through the use of Pell Grants. So, all of that is going to be used to make sure that we continue, as I say, to move forward and strengthen this economy and make opportunity for every American.
And very quickly, the fact that you have this reference to God taken out of the Democratic platform, does that concern you at all? You're talking to somebody, family of 7, grew up in a strong Catholic family, and I always referred to the Book of James and his readings about deeds over words. And I think that this president and the Democratic Party has been acting in a manner that would suggest we do care about the poor. We're making sure that every man, woman, and child in America has access to quality health care. And so those are deeds that I think speak much louder than words.
Before we let you go, Virgil Goode did make the ballots. Does that make you happy as a Democrat? Does that give you a better chance of winning in Virginia?
Realistically, probably it does. Virgil is quite conservative, extremely conservative.
Although he was a Democrat at one point.
At one point, he was a Democrat, yeah, and he certainly moved to the further to the right. But so those who were uncomfortable with Mitt Romney may very well look to Virgil Goode as an alternative.
All right, Brian Moran, good to have you on the program. Thanks for coming to the show.